The only lens you need when starting out in photography is your kit lens. I'm going to show you how you can build a strong portrait portfolio using just this cheap, inexpensive lens. Probably one of the most underrated lenses we have in our camera bag is the kit lens. These lenses are generally sold with camera bodies. They come as a package, and most people will tell you online that you need to ditch these and buy really fast glass for creating great portraits. Well, I'm going to prove them wrong, and I'm going to show you guys how, when starting out in photography, all you need is your kit lens. And I'm going to go behind the scenes to a photo shoot that I've recently just done with my son to show you the results, the lighting setup, and how you get the most out of this lens. So going ahead in this video, folks, I'm going to be shooting on the Nikon Z50. I've specifically picked this camera because it's an APS-C camera, and these cameras tend to be the cameras that most people who start out in photography purchase, and they all come with a kit lens, whether it be a 16-50, which is on here, or the 50-250, which is what I'll be shooting with today in the studio. You can still build a really strong portfolio using these entry-level cameras. All you need is a little bit of knowledge and a tiny little bit of lighting. And for the lighting purpose of this video, you'll see in the video when I start shooting in the studio, we're going to be using my favourite speed light, which is the Pixapro 580 Mark II. This is always in my bag, and it's one of my favourite lights, my favourite go-to light, to be honest, because you can create some amazing images using just a speed light. Now, specifically this speed light I like because it has a built-in rechargeable battery, and this just goes forever, so it'll last you a long time. So whatever I'm showing you in this video, you can replicate with whatever lights you have, but we're going to specifically use speed lights because, one, they're inexpensive and they're readily available to everybody. I'm also going to be shooting on a grey backdrop. Now, I'll explain why later in the video, why I'm shooting on a grey backdrop. One of the main reasons is it's readily available and it's really inexpensive, and you can do a lot with a grey backdrop. This will work with majority of the kit lenses, guys. Under certain conditions, your kit lens will produce relatively the same quality as a really expensive lens. There's no need to go out and buy these high quality fast glass lenses to get this type of image out of your camera. Now, obviously, shooting in the studio environment, I tend to shoot between f5.6 to f8. Now, shooting with either a cheap lens or an expensive lens, you'll find it really difficult when you come to print or even on screen, really, to find a massive difference in quality at those apertures. You really will. That's why the kit lens is really overlooked by most people starting out in photography, and that's why I wanted to put this video together to show you guys what you can actually achieve with the kit lens, and you don't need to spend all that money on expensive glass. Although these high-end lenses are absolutely fantastic to use and they are brilliant when you're starting out, this is all you need to build a strong portfolio. So we'll now look at the behind the scenes shoot where I photographed my son in the studio to give you guys some examples. I'll talk through the lighting setup and I'll talk through how this is going to get the most performance out of your kit lens. So touching on what we spoke about earlier, we're going to be using speed lights. Now, if you're starting out, people tend to buy a speed light first for their first light when they're starting out, and these are a really valuable tool. Now, I'm using this speed light in an octobox. I'll put links to the ones I'm using in the description below, but you don't have to use an octobox. You can use just a standard square softbox. This octobox is just my personal preference. That's the one I'm using today. Now, all I've done is I've set that up at a 45-degree angle to my subject, so it's going to come across and give a nice highlight on this side and fall away to a shadow on this side, create a nice triangle on the cheek. Further down the line, I did add another speed light, which you can do once you start building up your confidence when shooting with one light, and I'm using that just to light the hair on the back of Noah's head, just to give a little bit of separation from the background. Now, if we take a look at one of these images I've shot, I'm going to zoom right into the image. You can see the quality that this lens is producing. Now, when you're shooting in controlled studio environments like this, it's very rare that you're going to be shooting below kind of 5.6. It tends to be between 5.6 and f8 for a portrait. Unless you want to be really creative and you're going to go down to 1.8, then obviously you will need faster lenses. But obviously for the kit lens, this is an ideal sweet spot for those lenses, and you're going to get the most out of it because you're going to be lighting your subject with off-camera lighting, and this is going to allow you to get really great image quality out of your kit lens by lighting your subject with off-camera lighting. So we started out with just one light, and then further on in the shoot we started adding another light to the hair just to give a little bit of separation, like I said. What I would suggest is that you guys get hold of a reflector. Now what this does is this lifts the shadows and it'll just bounce the light back into your subject. And these are really, really inexpensive. So really all you need starting out is a good speed light that's going to last you, and a reflector with a softbox, and that's all you need to create some fantastic quality images. Now I've got it set off to the right hand side of Noah, and that, again, that's just lifting those shadows. But if you want to mix it up and create almost like a clamshell lighting, we'll move the lighting around, bringing it further down across the top of the subject, still coming across almost at a 45, so you're still getting the fall off and the shadow on one side. I do like that because it creates a nice definition to the image, a bit of highlight and shadow. And obviously using the reflector, Noah's just leaning his arms on it, that light is bouncing back up and reflecting into his face and lifting all of those shadows, and just makes for a really nice image. And again, it just allows you to get the best quality out of those lenses. So if you have a kit lens, guys, you can build a really, really strong portfolio with just your kit lens. All you need is just a little bit of lighting, and hopefully this video will help you guys start your journey in portrait photography. Now I mentioned earlier that I'm shooting on a grey background, and for a couple of reasons. One, they're relatively inexpensive, you can find them everywhere. I'll put links in the description for a few that you can check out. But one of the main reasons I use a grey background, I can actually add my own textures to the background of my image, to that grey background, and it's a nice easy process. I'm going to touch on that in another video. I'm going to be releasing a pack of these textures coming up on my website. I already have brushes available on the website to download. I'll put a link in the description, head over and check those out. But what this allows you to do is just create extra depth in your image. So rather than just shooting on a plain background, you can add a texture so it looks like you have multiple backgrounds. So each and every time you shoot a portrait session, you can make that portrait session completely different by adding these textures to your background. Like I say, they will be available soon, but consider subscribing to the channel to find out more about them, because I'm going to be producing a couple of more videos showing you how you can actually use those textures in your portrait photography. And that's going to make a big difference when you're starting out. Again, basic lenses, basic camera, a little bit of lighting knowledge, and having these textured backgrounds adding to the canvas that you're shooting on is going to create a big difference to the look of your images. So if you just set your camera settings to around about 5.6, 1/25 of a second, ISO 100, put your subject in place, put your speed light in the softbox, set it up at a 45-degree angle. Don't worry about the power settings just yet. Switch the flash on. Now you will need a trigger to fire that flash, but once you're all set up and you've got those camera settings dialed in, just take a shot. Don't worry about the power settings. Have a look in the back of your camera. Does that look too bright? Does it look too dark? And if it's not bright enough, increase the power of your flash. If it's too bright, turn the power of the flash down. Just remember to keep your subject and the lighting in the same position, and then you just concentrate on the power coming out of the flash until you find a really sweet spot that you like. And that's all you need, guys. That's all it is. That's how simple it is, and you can start producing really high-end portrait images with just speed lights and your kit lenses. I wanted to put this video together because I know there's a lot of people out there starting photography and obviously want to know which way is best to go. And the best way forward is just to utilise your kit lens, add some lighting to your kit, inexpensive lighting, and just start shooting and start having lots of fun and experimenting. And before you know it, you will have acquired a strong portfolio of images, which then you can start charging for. You can start making a photography business out of. And the beauty about this setup is that you can take it anywhere. It's highly portable. You can shoot it in your living room, in your bedroom, any spaces that are available, and you can go mobile with it. So just remember, folks, the most important thing is to have fun with your camera. Try not to worry too much about the technical side of things. Don't worry about light meters. Just set up and start shooting initially. That will all come down the line, but just use these basic rules to get the best out of the kit lens that you have and just build from there. That's a great solid foundation to work from, and one which you will start producing some fantastic quality images for your portfolio. I hope you've liked this video, folks. I really hope it's been helpful. Try not to worry too much about the technical side of it. Just have lots of fun. It really is a great medium to get into, guys, and one that you'll find soon enough you'll be producing fantastic images. So thanks for watching. If you've liked it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more tutorials and videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See you then.